Hi there, welcome to Kneppyinvests. Congratulations to Neuren Pharmaceuticals and its shareholders. And for full disclosure purposes, I have been a shareholder of this company for about 14 months. We saw some really good news released on March the 11th, Australian time, by a partner of Neuren Pharmaceuticals, which should benefit this company for the long term and should also benefit the shareholders because the share price should increase on March the 13th when the shares in this company do open up. I'll talk about the reasons why I am congratulating Neuren Pharmaceuticals, but more importantly, the news that was released on March 11th, Australian time, is absolutely brilliant news for a group of people who are affected by a rare neurological and development disorder because finally they have a treatment. So I'm giving away what this announcement is in regards, but this is absolutely brilliant news for not only those people who do suffer from this rare neurological and development disorder, but also their families. So I'm already giving away that the announcement on March 11th by the Neuren Pharmaceuticals partner was in regards to FDA approval for a treatment for, in fact, the first treatment for Rett Syndrome, which is a rare genetic, neurological, and development disorder that affects the way the brain develops. Now, this disorder causes a progressive loss of motor skills and language, typically affects females because I have read that if a male does get Rett syndrome, they don't live for very long. Now, most babies with Rett syndrome seem to develop the first symptoms around about 6 months or so, and then these babies lose the skills they had previously developed, such as the ability to crawl, walk, communicate, and use their hands. Now, at the Mayo Clinic, one of the most, one of the best health organizations, clinics in the world, they mentioned this. Potential treatments are being studied. So again, Neuren Pharmaceuticals, with their partner, were developing a treatment for Rett syndrome, and that treatment has been approved by the FDA on March the 11th, 2023. Before I move on, I want to congratulate Neuren Pharmaceuticals because they have been doing something very important over the past decade or so, and that is developing a treatment for a rare disorder. There are many rare disorders out there that are generally ignored by pharmaceutical companies, and there is one reason they are ignored by pharmaceutical companies, and it comes back to profits and money. Now, that might be a problem of capitalism. I'll talk about that in a second. But one of the main benefits of capitalism, and one of the reasons I'm a big supporter of capitalism, is because it incentivizes innovation. Again, incentivizes innovation. You compare capitalism to, say, socialism and communism, particularly communism. In that structure, there is very little incentive to innovate. And we just have to compare Russia or Ukraine or the USSR to America from the 1940s to the 1980s, 1990s. Very little innovation in USSR compared to United States. And the United States is a prime example of a capitalistic country. And the amount of innovation we have seen come out of that country has been staggering over the past 100, 150 years. And the reason it has been staggering is because companies and individuals are motivated for innovation because of that financial or potential financial gain they can get from innovating something and making something really good for society. So that's why I have to congratulate Neuren Pharmaceuticals, because even though they're living in a capitalist country, in a capitalistic world, they are doing something with less potential of financial monetary gain. And all you have to do when you're thinking of this argument is compare to what happened with COVID-19. So when COVID-19 came around, every single pharmaceutical company in the world was rushing in there to create a cure or treatment for COVID-19 because of the money, because of the potential profits. You don't see that when it comes to these rare disorders because not many people are affected by rare disorders. Something like 6,000 people in the United States are affected with Rett syndromes. So there's not that potential of significant money, significant profits. And that is why we have to congratulate not only Neuren Pharmaceuticals, but other companies that are doing important work when it comes to the treatment of rare disorders, also individuals who are doing important work when it comes to the treatment of rare disorders, because there are many rare disorders out there that are still being ignored, and we need to find a solution to those problems of, creating a sort of motivating force for more companies, more individuals to find treatments for these rare disorders. Even though my relationship with Neuren Pharmaceuticals began in about 2012 when I discovered this company and what they were doing, I understood that the path to success can be a fairly long run for these type of companies. And for a lot of these type of companies, that road to success never comes to fruition. They go down the wrong path and it's a failing wrong path. It goes nowhere, that sort of thing. So I thought I'd just be patient and wait for some really positive news from the company. And that positive news was released on the 7th of December 2021. And this is the reason I took a position in this company. Positive top-line results from pivotal phase 3 trial in Rett Syndrome. Now, not only did I understand this was a positive announcement from the company, the market also understood how significant this was for Neuren Pharmaceuticals because the share price on this particular day rose 91%. Now, many investors out there won't buy into a company after the share price rises 91%, but that's not the way I look at it. The way I look at it, the company has changed. The company has evolved because of this one announcement. The company is better. The company has been significantly de-risked. The chances of success has greatly grown, and that's why I took a position in this company. But there's also one other reason I took a position in Neuren Pharmaceuticals. Now, back in 2018, the company went into partnership with Acadia, and Acadia was the driving force for meeting with the FDA, putting in the all the most important documents and all that sort of thing. And Acadia and Neuren Pharmaceuticals had an agreement, and it's the monetary agreement which I was interested in and was fascinated by. So let's have a look at that financial agreement between Acadia and Neuren Pharmaceuticals. And this was very important because if there was not much of a monetary gain for Neuren Pharmaceuticals, even this sort of positive announcement probably would not have created so much interest in the market, and I probably would not have taken a personal position in this company. So this partnership between Neuren and Acadia began in August 2018, and Acadia were providing the necessary funding and capabilities to execute phase 3 and commercialize trofinetide, which is the Rett syndrome treatment in the United States. So some of the monetary agreements were pretty good. For instance, development milestones, $105 million on achievement of 5 milestones across Rett and Fragile X, another rare disorder. Commercial milestones, $350 million on achievement of 4 thresholds for total annual net sales. Double-digit percentage royalties with percentage escalating in 4 tiers of total annual net sales. And Neuren would receive 1/3 of voucher market value, which is estimated to be around $100 million. They've already started to receive money from Acadia. So let's have a look at that right now. So Neuren Pharmaceuticals received $10 million by this announcement released on the 13th of December 2022. Rett Syndrome new drug application accepted for priority review by FDA. And more importantly, the second part of the highlight here, Prescription Drug User-Fee Act, action date set for 12th of March 2023. So I'm recording this video on the 12th of March 2023. So this action date set was a little bit later than what actually happened, and why I'm excited about what's happening with Neuren Pharmaceuticals and what's going to happen to the share price of this company on March 13. But because of this particular announcement, Neuren earns milestone payment of $10 million from Acadia. So that's one of the first milestones payments. Another milestone payment expected in 2023, more than likely will be in 2023 now. When I say more than likely, I'm saying almost 100% likely. Another 57 million Australian dollars following the first commercial sale of trofinetide in the United States. Another 47 million Australian dollars in 2023 as Neuren's 1/3 share of the market value of a priority review voucher, which is estimated to be $100 million. So a lot of money is coming for Neuren Pharmaceuticals in the next 9 months. Now let's have a look at the chart for Neuren Pharmaceuticals up until the end of trading on March 10, 2023. You can see this towards the start of this particular chart, December 2021. You can see the massive update. and the share price rose 91% in one day. That was on that first announcement when I took a position in that company. So even though the share price hasn't gone up in a straight line, it has moved up. In fact, at the end of trading on that day, the share price was $3.20. The current share price at the end of trading on March the 10th is about $7. What was it? $7.67. So the share price had more than doubled after the share price had increased by 91%. This was just the catalyst for the re-rating in Neuren Pharmaceuticals share price because the company had been de-risked. Now, the last risk, in my opinion, was the FDA approval. That's what everyone was waiting for. And when I say everyone, I'm talking about Neuren Pharmaceuticals, the shareholders, but more importantly, those people affected by Rett syndrome, and just importantly, those families who have loved ones affected by Rett syndrome. And then, of course, March 11 came through and we had that announcement we were all expecting. I was fully aware that at some point during the week end, we will more than likely have some sort of news whether or not the FDA would approve this Rett syndrome drug, trofinetide. And then early on Saturday, the 11th of March, we received that news flow. So these are two little news grabs from Reuters and Business Wire, which is a Berkshire Hathaway company, in regards to US FDA approving trofinetide to be sold to those who are affected by Rett syndrome. From Reuters, US FDA approves Acadia's genetic Rett syndrome drug. A little bit more information in Business Wire. We get the name of the drug, which is called Daybue, D-A-Y-B-Y-O-O is how it's pronounced. And also some more information in that Business Wire announcement, including that Acadia expects to sell Daybue by the end of April 2023. So we're talking about just over 1 month from now. So remember, Neuren Pharmaceuticals will receive a significant amount of money because of that first commercialization, that first sale of Daybue. Not only that, rare pediatric disease priority review voucher granted in connection with approval, and don't forget, Neuren Pharmaceuticals will receive 1/3 of that review voucher, and they expect that to be around $100 million US. So there is potential that Neuren Pharmaceuticals will receive about 100 million Australian dollars within the next few months. But probably more importantly than that is how the Rett syndrome community has responded. This is straight from the International Rett Syndrome Foundation website. This is on the front page. They're excited about this news. Those families who have loved ones affected by Rett syndrome are massively excited about now they finally have a treatment for Rett syndrome. So here it is, FDA approves trofinetide, the first ever treatment for Rett syndrome. Again, the first ever treatment for Rett syndrome. And Acadia have already set up a Daybue website, and we know it's pronounced Daybue because they've mentioned here on this particular web page, introducing Daybue, pronounced Day, with the last bit B-Y-O-O, so similar to Daybue, D-E-B-U-T. The other thing I haven't included here is a list of some of the side effects, and the most serious side effect seems to be diarrhea. So an increasing likelihood of some diarrhea, but more than likely, those people who are affected by Rett syndrome, those family members who have loved ones affected by Rett syndrome, won't mind if those recipients of Daybue have a little bit of diarrhea. I would gladly have diarrhea if my symptoms are decreased by Daybue. That's all I have for this video, talking about Neuren Pharmaceuticals. Exciting times happening for this company, shareholders, Acadia in the United States, and also those people affected by Rett syndrome, and just importantly, those family members who have loved ones affected by Rett syndrome. They finally have a treatment for this terrible disorder. If you have any questions about Neuren Pharmaceuticals or anything else, if you know a lot about Rett syndrome and you'd like to add to the discussion, I'd love to hear from you. So leave anything anything you have to say in the comment section of this video. Otherwise, I am not a financial advisor. If you do need financial advice, make sure you seek out someone who is qualified and can speak to your own financial needs. That's it for this video. Have a good day. Bye.